My beautiful people, today we have a special tutorial. I put this out last year, how to unlock the midfield. It's more detailed, it's more in-depth, and I haven't seen any other content producer go into this much information, this many clip examples. So if you have questions, get in the comments down below. But basically, unlocking the midfield is how to break down your opponent's midfield, how to get in behind, how to get past the guys that are just tracking back, and it's causing you a lot of frustration. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it helped, drop a thumbs up, share it around the community. I would appreciate that very much so. But without too much further ado, we got to get to talking about all this. Wait, you see this no parking beanie, and if you want to make some customized stuff, catbeast.com, Dirty Mike 10, get you 10% off. Roll clip!
Catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
As we get started, I want to reiterate that there are going to be so many different types of clip examples in this video, and check my YouTube playlist on tutorials and tips, because that has the majority of skills and breakdowns and wing play and fast passing and slow passing that you're going to see in this video. Maybe not everything, but it's got the majority. So start there. If it's not there, then boom, tell me, Mike, we need this. And as we're going into the first breakdown here, you're starting to see me wiggle and work. It's a normal through pass. And I feel that the through ball, whether it's in the air with the chip through ball or it's on the ground, it's a normal through pass or it's a threaded through ball, they're basically cheat codes to breaking down someone's midfield. You have to get into the secondary just a tad bit, but when you have somebody running and you got the timing right, your rhythmic passing is on point, you're going to score goals. And it's the easiest way to beat somebody's midfield, to unlock their midfield. However, versus good defenders, you're probably not going to get a large amount of opportunities to beat someone with a through ball. They're just not going to make big enough mistakes. And if you've played a lot of FUT champs, then you're accustomed to going against custom tactics that include no pressure or park the bus. And unless they truly push bodies forward, you're not going to have the quick counters as you're seeing here. I'm talking about skipping the build-up, because there's no reason to make additional build-up happen. We have the ball in the midfield, but there's a gap. He's on a run, chip through ball, first time. Remember, timing is crucial for anything. Not just FIFA, I'm talking about life in general, but the finish for that, ooh, that is crispy. I appreciate you, Antoine Griezmann. Word on the street, he's coming to Manchester United. How do you feel about that if you're a United fan? I mean, I'm sure you'd take him. I'm just saying, just stating some facts. Tell you what, Jose Mourinho, whether you love him or hate him, man, he could recruit some players. Last freeze frame, I believe that I'm kind of showcasing in terms of these examples. We got the threaded through ball. So I've given you the chip through ball, the regular through ball, now the threaded through ball. They're all similar in terms of what you're looking for, and it's all about that runner and how the defense is kind of playing them. Are they cutting this way? Are they cutting that way? Are they flat-footed? And you have to be able to register if this is a good time for a through ball based on that information that you're being provided. And I've made a video covering how to kind of figure out when to hit those through balls, how to time them. And this is our last example. Pretty basic there. Kind of slip the center back. You got a lot of space in behind. Quality finish, though. I believe that's Martial, who is just one of those players. Disgusting this year. But that's the first place that we're going to start with unlocking the midfield. I realize a lot of those examples kind of happened after you got past the midfield just a tad bit. But if people make that mistake, oh, let's do it. Now, valuing the 1-2. We're still looking at through balls, but now we're looking at a 1-2 through ball. Not quite TIKI. We're going to wait for that. But if you can hit a pass and move with a striker, they pass and they go in behind. And this is always a great way to open up space, and another way to beat the people that are kind of chasing back. They're trying to get more bodies back. Nah, if we got the space now, we can make this happen now. You hit them with an entry pass, a wall pass, a target man pass. And we're going to discuss more with target men. You could even use a driven pass if you'd like, and then a 1-2 out of there. And you create so much space, and more importantly, you keep your opponent honest. He needs to believe that you're not scared to go for the chip through ball or go for just the threaded through ball, the normal through ball, whatever, to take a chance. You're willing to take some risk. A lot of people that struggle offensively refuse to take risk. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of this from time to time. Over 40 matches in FUT champs, sometimes I get into this routine where I'm no longer being as creative as I should, not putting enough pressure. And if your opponent allows free midfield play, so they're not pressuring you in the midfield, then take advantage with the movement! That's what I'm talking about when we are looking at the strikers with the pass and move, the 1-2s. If you can utilize 1-2s, it's always a good look for scoring goals and being effective and being efficient when you're playing FIFA 17. Guaranteed. Doesn't matter how they defend. It's just a matter of time. Some people can play very fast and up-tempo. Some people need to be more balanced. Some people have to be slow. So then you kind of got to pick and choose your moments. Now, true target man. And I do want to discuss this because I play a lot of people that are very good at shielding. So they're holding the guy up, they're backing in. And those guys also understand the concept of layoffs. And you can hit the target man with a few different types of passes. But we're going to talk about just the normal A pass, the layoff, getting behind the mid. So this is very similar. When I'm talking about attackers, you're trying to get in behind the defense. No. Well, in the midfield, you want your midfielders to get in behind their midfielders. And that's where a target man, oh, it's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people don't use this properly. And it has a little more patience. And it's not as simple or straightforward as just pass forward, pass forward. A lot of people don't like to go forward, then backwards, or forward, and then side to side. But just square it. The layoff, it sets up long shots, it sets up other passes, it can start your attack, and more importantly, it opens up space, movement, and just makes you more creative. People have to defend a little bit differently. You got bodies on bodies on bodies. And here's another good example. Look at Ibra. He's there. He's backed in. And this is a target man's value. You can already see, I believe that's Conte that's pushing him, but you can already see that Conte's coming. You know what the next pass is going to be. But that's a great way to beat the midfield because your midfield is beating their midfield. Kind of like when your attackers are beating your opponent's defense. This is what is going down. If you win those 50-50s, midfielder versus midfielder, of course, you're opening up space, you're opening up time, you're opening up angles, all that kind of good stuff. Now we're talking about the driver's seat, and this deals with the driven pass. And there's going to be many circumstances you need the driven pass, especially when you're playing against people who track back. We've all played against those opponents. All they do is run back the midfield. I actually recommend using the midfield to help you defend. But I don't say, hey, blindly run these guys back. Don't worry about anything else. Just run them back. And here we are, driven pass up top. If you would have used a through ball in this example, there's not enough space. Maybe it would have taken it out wide, but if you wanted it down the middle, there's not enough space for your player to lock on. Not consistently. And that's what we're trying to build. Not just a one-off. We want you to have consistent success. Gets it on his left foot. I don't know how Mr. Andre Hahn was able to kind of slot that. Or maybe that was Schürrle, actually. Either way, good finish. I'll take it. And as I stated, it's a good way to beat opponents who run the midfield back. The guys that are just constantly, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you can hit a couple driven passes, which speeds up the game, or it allows you to split the defense, which can make your attack beautiful. And if you're splitting the midfield, of course, you beat the midfield. You don't have a problem anymore in the midfield. And now with these true tiki-taka examples, and I've done a couple tutorials on passing and tiki-taka play. So if you need help in this specific area, cool. I got those videos. But I want to show a lot of the tiki-taka build-up in full speed because I just feel that you can grasp it better in that form versus me trying to do a bunch of different freeze frames of these ins and outs and these first-time passes. I just don't want to sell anybody short in terms of the build-up play, which you guys I'm sure can understand. I just don't want to cheat how good the timing is or how well the attack is kind of formulated and put together. And it's all about vision with tiki-taka passing, vision and personnel. If you have a squad of big bulky players, then even if you understand tiki-taka passing, of course you're not going to get the same results if you have the Lionel Messis and the Neymars and the guys that pass and move. Oh, they're second to none. And I also wanted to show, of course, unlocking all these different passing options, what you can count on, which you can start to put together. Because if you're doing the tiki-taka build-up properly, then of course you're going to have options to score goals. Now, the risk is if you get a pass intercepted, oh, damn, I'm open for a counterattack. And I like to go slow, then fast, and slow, then fast. I like to build my tempo and kind of switch it up when I'm playing FIFA. And for some people that works great, for others not so much, but I'd almost always recommend being able to kind of control the game, control the tempo, and doing it in the best form that it is an advantage for you. So if you need it fast, move it fast. You need it slow, move it slow. And then also people talk to me all the time about closing out matches. You need to slow down and be a little more conservative. That does not mean hoe out the game, does not mean run to the corner, does not mean play 5 at the back. It just means don't make as many risky passes in the midfield. Plain and simple. And then I'm talking about the wing play now. And in the wings, you're often going to do a pass and move, or you can trigger the runs. Remember, triggering runs is crucial here, LB or L1. And if you're using any wide formation, 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, you want to send those wingers down the line. Open up space. Make sure your opponent either tracks back with them. If he doesn't track back, cool, they're wide open. You need to utilize them is what I'm trying to say. And it's an awesome way to get out of the midfield, to beat the midfield, to unlock the midfield, like truly to unlock the midfield. You can do it via the wings. And I know I got an example in here where I'm telling you just watch this one guy. He's going to get all the way back involved in his attack. It was just a pass and move, but it's a beautiful thing. Because wings give you the ability to have a little more safety with your passing and a lot more space. If you know that you can't play that tiki-taka, you're not up to par in terms of fast thinking, fat passing, this is not something you specialize in, or maybe you haven't got there yet in FIFA, then using the wings and being able to pass and move with the wings can still keep you in a lot of matches and keep you competitive. Once again, I did not say to hoe out the game in any sort of way. I hate when people try to say, Mike said this, and it's like, hold on. Or I'll play against somebody that literally is just parking the bus against me, and you say, I'm a big fan of your videos, I'll watch what your content. I'm like, I've never shown this. I've never showed this. And then I want to talk about positioning your players. And this deals kind of with triggering runs. Of course, with tiki-taka, it's great if you can combine it. But it's more about patience and play development and understanding spacing, and then, of course, that play development where you're naturally pushing bodies forward. You're triggering those runs, and you're thinking about it. A lot of people talk about how they have issues getting bodies forward, but they're not willing to commit those bodies forward because they're having defensive problems. It doesn't take a genius to be able to tell you, well, this is your problem. Your refusal to commit bodies forward, your refusal to trigger runs. A lot of people will say, oh, I don't use LB and A at all, which is kind of a pass and move. Or I don't use L1 and X if you're on the PlayStation. I don't use that at all. It's like, well, there's your problem. If you don't use that at all, how can you expect your midfield to push into the attack? How can you expect your fullbacks, if you want them to push into the attack, or your wingers to make runs for you? These guys will stand stagnant. And the last point that I want to bring up is the skip counter. And I've got a couple different ways of doing this. I like to use typically a fullback or a midfielder, and you got to glance at the radar. If you don't look at the radar, then don't use this. It's a little more advanced, and it's not something you can use over and over again in a match, but I use it almost every single game, maybe once or twice. And what I'm looking for in the radar is to make sure that my striker is ahead of the defender, and then I'm trying to pooch it to him. I would say about 2 bars power, but it does depend where you're standing and who's providing. So if you have a left footer on the left side, you're going to be hitting your left striker, usually a 2-striker setup. If you're on a right footer on the right side, you're hitting your right striker if you're using a right-footed fullback. And if you have a midfielder, you're just lobbing it forward. If you only have one striker, I do want to put this out there as a disclaimer. One striker, it's much harder to do this with. Maybe you'd be better off feeding a large winger. So if you had a Bellarabi, a Ronaldo, a Bale on the wings, that might be who you want to aim for. But it's just a good outlet, and a lot of people talk about being overwhelmed. This is a good way to get out of being overwhelmed, because when somebody's chasing a match at the end, they're in your face, and it's not always your best interest to kind of play out of there. But I hope this video really helped everyone. It did take a long time to make, as you probably could see. I don't know how many clip examples we have in this. I'm talking, this video's got to be at least 20 clips, like 20 different goals that are scored. But I know you guys are going to blast that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Until next time, peace.